So again, I'm Sammy, and I'm going to be talking about our brand identity. Soaprize is a family company. What that means is we are dedicated to providing you and your children with an unsurpassed quality of cleanliness that you and your family can rely on. Simply put, hand washing matters. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention tells us that if everyone routinely washed their hands, 1 million deaths a year would be prevented. Also, 1 in every 6 children to get hand washing could help protect 1 in every 6 children to get pneumonia, and 1 in every 3 children to get diarrhea, the top 2 killers of children under the age of 5. That's where our soaprize concept came in. We wanted to change hand washing from something that was a chore for children to something that would be fun and exciting. That's where our brand name, soaprize, comes in, and our slogan, wash your way to the prize inside. First and foremost, we wanted the visual elements of our brand to appeal to our target audience. That's why we had numerous interviews with people in our target market. We asked them about what kind of clothes they wear, what products they use, where they shop, what they like, and we compiled it all into this visual library. Then, this visual library directly inspired the logo and packaging design you see here.
So we define our market as mothers of children ages 3 to 7, specifically Madison Park moms, because they are at sort of a place of wealth where they are investing in soaps and products that are going to be more beneficial to quality rather than just price. In our interviews, they described their usual bath time as being hectic and disliked, and the kids just didn't seem to want to do it. So we made our soap. Make the kids want to have bath time because it has a toy inside, it changes colors, and it smells really good, which makes the kids want to do it.
Alright, so our original intention was something like this, where it has spherical layers of different colors on the outside, but we changed that because it was a little bit too hard to make, and it would have been too costly and everything. But we also made it a little bit smaller because that's what our customer feedback was, and we put a toy inside that is a little foam capsule that will dissolve and then blow up into like a little foam dinosaur or something for the kids to play with. And we use food scents because that's what our customers want.
Okay, so as George mentioned, our spherical mold did not work out as planned. So instead of having spherical layers, we just ended up having 3 layers on top of each other. And again, we used animal grow capsules. And so we do here have, since our soap didn't work out as planned, we have like samples of each scented layer and color that would have been in the soap. So pretty much, we're not as much marketing the aesthetics of the soap as we are the advertising and the marketing and the concept and the general quality of the soap. And here are some pictures. So here's our soap, here's our packaging, and then here's a bird's eye view of our soap in the packaging. And then the experimental support. We used shea butter as our fat in the soap because it had the best cleaning ability, which we found obviously most important. It towered over lard and beat coconut oil. We used NaOH as our base because, again, it had the best cleaning ability by a long shot. And it also had the best level of hardness. It wasn't too malleable, but it also wasn't rock hard. And we used a 1:3 fat-to-base ratio because we found it was the least acidic, which is obviously the safer choice when it comes to sensitive little kids' hands.
Alright, so in order to find an appropriate price range for our product, we researched different soap products of the same market and used those prices to guide what the price should be for soaprize. And we believe that soaprize is the most unique, fun, and functional product on the market, and thus when pricing it, placed it more on the expensive side. However, it is still considerably less expensive than the competing brand Surf's Up Kids side, making it the best investment choice in the market. And in fact, here is a graph of where soaprize fits in with the other competitors in terms of cents per ounce.
Okay, so a little bit more on the financial side of things. We plan on selling our product in stores for about $6.50, which is a lot, but we can get away with it because of our market, which are our wealthy market. For our materials, they're costing us $6.24, so we're making a total profit of 26 cents off of each bar of soap that we sell. We'll be selling them at 4 different locations, 2 of them Pharmaca in Madison Market, also Red Wagon Toys, and the original children's store, which are all going to be, which are all within our market. So, as for the projection of our financials, starting out we will be distributing a lot of units, but the price will be a lot lower. A lot of them will be free samples that we'll be giving out, because in the beginning it'll all be about growing our brand and making everything, making our company more well known throughout our market. Then, so our total capital will go way down within the first 5 or 6 months, because we'll be giving away free samples and growing our company and selling at more locations. But eventually, once we get to the 6-month period, we'll start to, everything will start to balance out, and we'll have a pretty steady gain in capital and a pretty profitable business plan. So eventually, by about 3 years, your investment will start to turn a profit, actually, and your investments will be worth their while. So that's...
Some of the future outlooks of our company is like new scents, such as like different types of foods, because that's what our customers want. It's like mints, maybe like peppermint or a regular mint. And then there are like some new colors, like there's like shades of blue, shades of like reds, purple, and then like a rainbow type of color. There'll be more layers. Maybe we'll have like collectible toys, so making the kids want the soap even more. So it's like they can collect the toys, but also get used to washing their hands to get the toys. And we'll have varieties of different types of prototypes of our soap. We're gonna start like targeting the middle class families and neighborhoods around from Madison Park to the Central District, to West Seattle to North Seattle, and so we can become a really big soap company in the Northwest of the United States of America. And that's it.
Well, yes, in just a minute. Overall, I thought that your group, you guys did a pretty good job of like staying on task. Like even from the beginning, like you guys had a few folks that were kind of stepping up and initiating what was going to happen and kind of keeping on top of people. But I don't think that every time I looked over, there wasn't one of you guys just hanging around waiting for somebody to tell them what to do. Each of you guys kind of stepped up and made sure that you were contributing in some way. You guys did a pretty good job of staying on top of your timelines, of holding each other accountable. And when it came time to figure out who was going to present first, and you guys ended up getting the short match or the long match? I forget. You got the long match?
No, we got the short.
You got the short match. Anyway. And you guys had to go on Wednesday, and that was like, okay, like it was a little bit of a shock to you guys, but you stepped up and you got it done. What I would like to, I'm gonna let some people ask some questions and some of the other adults kind of give their feedback and stuff. But I would like to, through these questions, also talk a little bit more about kind of what you guys actually accomplished in the lab and what you learned through that, and how you implemented that in your final design, and how it may have, what the conflict was between what you're actually able to do and what you wanted to do based on your market, how you kind of compromised between those two things. And Megan, if you want to chime in now or later, it's totally up to you. Would you like to say something at this point? Or?
No.
Okay, all right. So let's just open it up to questions. It looks like Emma is ready to shoot with something.
Well, I think there's one up seven. Is that 3 different prizes though, or one?
Well, those those were just samples of like each layer of the soap because our final product didn't come out like quite as hoped. So like it got a little discolored, but this is what we had hoped it to be. Yeah, but this is the soap.
Okay.
What are the 3 flavors at this point?
The flavors are lemongrass, strawberry, and lime. And they smell very well, very good together as well.
Could you guys pass them around?
Yeah.
The
Here,
samples
let's do this one. Look, it's like
How long does it take for this to dissolve completely?
When can I get the prize? It might take a while. You'll have to wash your hands a lot. And you'll develop good hygiene habits.
Because you've incentivized washing your hands with the soap, do you think kids would just like take it and like put it in a bathtub and just let it sit there so they could like dissolve it in maybe like a day so they could get the toy and just like waste money?
I think if I were a Madison Park mom,
I would.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely a possibility, but
And there's also like the possibility of some kid just smashing it and getting the toy. Obviously, there's like, you can't just not make sure that your soap will be used. There's no guarantee that it will.
But really,
that's the hope.
it's more fun if you wash your hands with it because then you get this so dry.
Well, you
so
get surprised either
Best
way.
surprise ever. Yes, Sarah.
How did you choose this
We originally actually wanted to use bouncy balls, but kind of helped us out with that, and we all kind of realized like, okay, since we're targeting such young kids, that could be a choking hazard. So we came up with the idea of just using these foam capsules because it kind of even adds more to the surprise.
It goes a lot better with
Yeah,
the water aspect of it.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, what exactly is the prize? They're little. Is it one
Do you
thing?
like have
It's
the
like a
toy
little
with you?
Or-
Well, they're little.
Is it one thing or is it like
No.
multiple?
It's
one
you only
little
get
capsule.
one per soap, and it's like you get a capsule, you put it in some water, and
I'm just
it'll,
going back and forth.
You can use it.
and you put it in water, and you let it sit, and it expands, and it grows into. Are they dinosaurs? Yeah, it expands into big
All
dinosaurs.
all different animals.
Oh, it's like those grow a girlfriend things.
Yeah.
Or grow a dinosaur.
Wow.
A lot.
Could you please talk about your packaging choice?
Okay, so so I'm into design for packaging. I chose colors that were pretty presentable to kids, pretty simple. They weren't too like complicated. The whole thing isn't very complicated, so it catches the kid's eye, but it's also kind of elegant, so it'll catch the mother's eye too in the stores. I chose to use a cupcake box for the soap because it's this little window here. It's nice so you can see what the soap is. And just made a little die cut on the top for a little flare. And
Looks like bubbles.
yeah, it's like bubbles.
So when you put them like when you have multiple boxes, it'll be like a line of bubbles.
So when looking at that, I mean, I look at surprise, right?
Yeah.
And there's 2 words both sharing the P, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you decide that, I mean, because the R-I-Z-E is kind of like hidden off to the side inside of that bubble, right? So to me, I look at it, the thing I see right away is soap, right? How did you choose that like soap is kind of what you wanted to focus on as opposed to like, oh, there's a prize, or what was, you're emphasizing one thing over the other. I'm just curious why you chose soap.
Well, this is the soap project and not the prize project.
That's a zinger. We're talking about a product here.
So we emphasized the soap part of it because we want it to be, attractive to parents, and we want, like, first and foremost, like the kid. We want a kid to see this and go, ooh, mommy, can I have this? And not have the mom be like, oh no, that's just like a toy. Like have the mom realize that it's actually soap. So, with emphasis on the soap.
Okay.
It's like functional.
Megan, I imagine there are a ton of brands out there that have two words that are kind of merged together in a way, right?
It's not bothering me so much. I just think they could tweak the colors inside the soap bubble so that the rest of the word is a little bit more legible. And that's just a matter of bumping up one color inside of that larger circle.
Okay.
I have two questions for you guys. Number one, concerns about using another commercial product in your product in terms of licensing.
Yeah, so I think that in the scope of this project, it's a little bit difficult because we'd have to contact that company and discuss branding and how I think that we would probably display that company's logo somewhere on our packaging so it's apparent. Obviously that kind of takes away some of the surprise, but it's apparent that that we got another company's toy in our soap. And I think, as Jael mentioned, as we grow as a company, we would start to develop our own line of limited edition toys and stuff.
But in the meantime, your profit margin is really pretty small. You're making 24 cents on each piece of soap, right?
It'll take a while.
If you're gonna put another company's brand on there, you're gonna have to purchase that ability, right?
Yeah.
That's probably gonna be at least 24 cents a bar. No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it depends because I think that
But is it something that you guys looked into or not?
Well, I looked into it somewhat, in terms of I researched the actual product that we're putting in.
But not whether other companies have used their product or what it
I
costs.
didn't call them and ask them
Okay.
if they could put it in. So
That would have been
Why not?
a good idea. Yeah.
I would have done that. I got one follow-up question real quick. Sorry to jump on you guys. But so 624, what's the biggest chunk of that in terms of cost?
The biggest, I think that we're using organic shea butter that we buy in bulk, and that probably costs about
It was $2
more than 50%.
$2.34.
Okay, so if you use lard, it's probably 50 cents. So can you prove to me that the $2 drop in profit that you're getting there is worth it in terms of the increase in quality?
Lard
Yeah.
and cleaned absolutely.
Can you
We did
show me
try.
that data?
Where's the...
we do have some photos of.
Because I'm concerned about these data that list numbers 1 through 10. What does that mean?
Well, it was qualitative data.
And how does it compare also to what I could buy right now that's on the market? In other words, if I can buy stuff on the market that cleans as well as the lard product, I'm not sure that I agree with your decision right now. What's your reference in 1 to 10 in terms of what's commercially available right now?
Well, we conducted experiments qualitatively and had people get dirt on their hands and then wash it off. And we noticed that the lard just smudged around the dirt on people's hands while the shea butter actually worked with soap and wash off.
Yeah, the lard tended to separate into 2 layers, and it would get really greasy and just bad.
So we've been doing this for 7 years and have had tons of soaps made of lard that work fine. So are you sure that the issue is with the lard and not with your production process?
Our base, I don't know.
Well, it's also that shea butter has a really good connotation in the.
Yeah, but is that worth $2 in profit per bar? A connotation?
I think it
Well,
is actually.
Well,
In
when
accordance
we-
with our market, yeah.
Based on our market itself, for example, Jamie took samples of our soap and she brought it to a bunch of people and was like, hey, can you look at this? And we brought shea and coconut and lard soaps, and they all all the feedback we received was positive for the shea butter, as opposed because the lard also has another scent that's actually quite unpleasant, and we didn't want that. Yeah, we didn't want that to be off-putting to children who are trying to develop good hygiene habits.
Did you try it, the lard with the existing scents that you have? Because the scent you got now is awesome. It's really, really good. Did you try lard with that scent to see if it would mask it enough?
Well, we kind of we outruled lard pretty early because of its cleaning abilities. So we didn't really get to combining it.
So if I said to you, hey, I'm really worried about this, I'm not going to invest because of the use of the shea butter. I'm not seeing enough evidence that it's worth it. How would you, in the next 2 weeks, prove me one way or the other right, wrong? Because I'm not convinced right now, just based on what I'm seeing. What's that? What's that?
Yeah.
We would make you the soap out of lard, and
Okay.
you would see a floating, like just like this blob of soap floating in a
It
pool
would be
of lard.
probably
and
not
unaesthetically
pleasing, ineffective, and
I mean, do you have stuff that you could show us right now?
I think we might have.
Is it in your document?
We have some. Does someone want to pull? I can look
You
at
got-
the document.
Here. You can see it in the
Yeah, you can
comments.
just tell us where it is.
And if
in the
anybody has
document.
anything on the back shelf, you can grab it too. While you guys are looking for that, can I ask another question? Okay, George, when you guys had this original idea of using kind of spherical layers of the soap, right? And that proved to be a little bit too difficult for you guys in the time frame that you had and so forth. What would it take in order to implement that, and how much do you think it would cost? How long do you think it would take? Would it really be worth it? Would it increase your profit or your ability to sell your material? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it would just take a lot of trials to get it right. Just making the soap, as you can see, even just making the layers was difficult for us. But I think it's definitely possible to do.
It's
With
been,
the amount
this has been
with
sitting
an
for
extensive amount of time.
2 weeks,
Um,
and it's still not.
And I don't
it's
think it
still-
would cost
It's not going to.
a
good
whole lot.
smell,
It would
in
just,
packaging
cost the
and
amount each time to make the soap, just of the materials of the soap. And we would just need to make some sort of mold for each layer.
So are you saying that it was time, or it was actually more complicated?
it was time and resource. Like, we'd need to make 3 different molds, and it would take, and do the saponification process 3 different times for each mold. So,
Isn't that what you did with the mold you have now?
well, yeah, but we didn't have to make 3 different molds.
You just kept pouring it in?
Yeah.
We did one of the
7 hours.
So we still have the different colors incorporated into it, but we didn't have to make 3 different molds.
So do you think it'd be more appealing, or pretty much the same if you actually had the spherical idea?
I think it'd be more appealing.
Well,
Kind of like what are the big, like, I think Gobstop, what are the huge?
There's
Jawbreakers.
Yeah, we actually thought we were thinking about that.
yeah, but I also think this is pretty appealing. Like
Yeah, it turned out.
I don't disagree, I think it's kind of cool.
the rainbow of colors.
The bottom color needs work, but
Besides, you can't really see the green, but
yeah, the bottom layer got.
And I know you guys were a little short on time.
Yes.
I think, with some practice, you guys could probably try, different
Yeah.
methods, trying to get a little more uniform and so forth.
If we could do it again, I think we'd nail it.
So you think that if you were able to, I guess my question is, would you want to stay with the layers, or would you want to stay with, or go to the jawbreaker idea?
Well, I really think that the layers looks
Yeah,
good.
I kind of like the layers. Maybe more layers, but I think it's nice that you can see from the outside the different colors in them. So.
Good question. Yes.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. Did you guys figure out a
Yeah, we're good.
response to that first question we were on?
Yeah.
Shea butter versus lard?
Yes.
Yes, we gave a sample of
Oh, you-
lard, so.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Well, so is there a big cost difference between the shea and the coconut? Because it looks like coconut cleans almost as well. Get any savings using coconut versus shea?
I did some of the total costs. I hadn't checked out how much the coconut oil costs.
Well,
I'm not
we think it's about the same actually as shea butter, coconut oil. Yeah, but we found out that the weird thing about coconut oil is it tends to separate a little bit, and it's a little bit too hard and unforgiving on the hands.
And the smell is
So, yeah,
more, yeah, than the shea
and
butter.
it didn't really work with adding colors as well. So
Yeah, and
decided
also,
against it.
when we took the soap samples to consumers, it was pretty evident that shea butter was our strongest sample because that's just what they all said is best.
You know how, so it seems like most of the time you'll be using this in a bathtub. Is there any value to the fact that maybe the soap ring is easier to clean with shea butter? You know, like a soap fountain leaves a ring around the bathtub. Is there any value in it?
We didn't really look into that. I think that the soap is equally at home in the bathtub or sink, so.
Well, I think it probably leaves less residue than the
Yeah,
lard
residue
soap would, because the lard soap is just greasier and,
And it is like a kind of sticky stuff.
yeah, so it probably should be less than ring.
Yeah, because when we were cleaning up our materials, the lard was very good.
That might just be an added bonus.
Yeah, I noticed in your financial slide that you had your cost of materials listed like just above $6. And I was wondering if you incorporated each of your wages into that and how you did that based on like time scale.
Yeah, we included the cost of labor that per hour that we will have to pay
Which was
to
the
make
minimum
it.
wage of Washington State.
Yeah.
So yeah, I figured you did that. My question was more like, did you figure out like how many like bars of this you can make in a certain hour so that you can incorporate how much you'd be working into how much profit like per hour you'd make when you're working?
Profit per hour. You would, profit per hour, we had not included that part. But it's, if you just figure out, it takes how much per layer of soap to dry? 7 hours?
7 hours.
So, I mean, if you just let it dry, that's not really labor work per se. I mean, you could be working on something else, like
Yeah.
making another bar of soap in that 7 hours.
Like if we're
As
mass
such.
producing it, then it's probably gonna go a lot faster than if we're just working on one prototype back there, so. Yeah, we said it would probably take about like about 10 minutes per unit, because we'd be able to make a lot of different units at the same time. So, yeah, that's, I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, two questions, one is chemistry, one is business. The chemistry question, what did you use to mix your soap together? What?
Yeah, we
You
did
used a
transfer,
Thursday?
we did not.
Okay, I did the same thing with my soap, and when I used a blender,
Yeah.
the lard and coconut oil combination actually worked a lot, and it solidified really well, and it didn't have the same problems of separation, and it took a lot less time than actually using Thursday, which makes lard somewhat of a viable option, just consider that. Second, how many bars would you have to make to break even over however long? Or just an approximate number.
I can put it back up
bars
again.
break even.
It's a lot.
Depending on how much we use, the total cost for about 12 boxes of our soap would be about $120.81, and depending on
Wait, if the soap costs $6.50 a box, how would it cost like $120?
that's the fixed cost is plus the variable cost. I haven't got to the revenue yet.
Okay.
Revenue is price and quantity, and 12 boxes would only get you 120. So if we did, but that was with $10 at first. Then we changed the price to $6.50. So $6.50 times 12, you would get your revenue, and then you subtract $120.81 minus your revenue, and then you would get your profit. I can't do that on top of my head right now.
That's fine, I don't expect you to.
Okay, so if we look at my graph, our units distributed is in red. We'll have to be consistently distributing about, I think it's like 4, I don't know, I don't have the data table on this PowerPoint, but it's about somewhere in the hundreds.
Okay.
And it'll probably take about 3 years for us to actually start turning a profit and break even. So, yeah.
Alright, so that was it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, she's a chance, sorry.
Hey,
In your report, did you address shea butter's ability to relieve itching and sore muscles comparatively to lard's inability to do so?
I think that comment was too good.
Chance, we should sit down and talk.
I think also, like, shea butter, it works as a marketing thing, because you don't really want, if you can't really write on the packaging that it has lard in it, like, you wanna wash your hands with lard. Yeah, so like Madison Park mothers will definitely, if they see shea butter.
That's why you come up with a really cool scientific name for fat, so they don't know what it is.
But they don't want a really weird scientific name on it if they want to be simple, so.
I actually went to a couple of people in my market's house, and I let them use a sample of our shea butter, and they said that after they used it, their hands felt softer. And we found that was really important, especially when dealing with little kids and sensitive skin. Emma.
Okay. So this is kind of follow up to Bobby's question, but did you guys actually figure out wages for all, or the salaries for all of you? And what $9.30? Okay, and if you can't, so I assume that you can't pay your workers at the beginning of your company, and if you do, then where is that money coming from?
Like we need people to invest about, we need like an initial investment of like $5,000 to pay for all of our initial materials. And then like as you can see, as the total capital just continues to go down, that's because we're expanding and hiring more people and spreading to 4 locations.
So if you can't give an investment, how would you be able to guarantee that your workers will stay with you for the next 3 years until you will break even and start making a profit?
You can't guarantee it, but that's why we need
Jack, do you have I mean, there are certain fixed costs that you listed in here, and you've broken down pretty well in terms of, labor and this and that.
Yeah.
Do you have a startup cost? Like, if you want to start the company tomorrow, like, how much money would you need to ask for? Did you guys get to that or not?
I did. I added up all of the initial costs. I think it's somewhere around $5,000.
$5,000?
I don't.
That will cover labor.
Do you have operation costs for like a year?
I don't know.
Yeah, how long will that cover for one day?
Is that going to cover a person too? Here you go.
Yeah, our total. Oh, it just. Yeah.
You're okay. You're okay. You can keep looking at this if you need to. You guys have questions for any other folks? Or? Let's do 2 more questions and then we'll take a breather.
I'm just wondering if you thought about raising the cost you were selling it at, because I feel like $6 is still pretty cheap for soap, and I feel like just raising it like $1 or something would be better than being in debt for 3 years or something.
Yeah, but it's not. If we raise $1, that could be like losing a few more customers, because we don't want it to be super expensive where it's like $10 for like a little bar of soap. That's ridiculous. But not so cheap where it's like, oh, it's $2 for a bar of soap. That's why even buy it when I can get something that's like break even. But
raising $1.
But still, it's like it's a potential danger.
Even raising it just like 50 cents and put
It's
marketing at like
it's $6.99.
Well,
that's
a lot more. People want register $6.50 and $6.99. It's like,
Well, that's a good consideration, and it would actually be a very good idea for us to run some, I guess another sample with using a different price point. But from our interviews, our consumers said, when we asked them, would you buy this? a lot of them said, like, this is straight from our interviews, like, yes, if it wasn't too expensive. So even though our target market is considerably affluent, we don't want to off-put them by the price. Like, if it's too expensive, they won't buy it, and that's like actually what they say.
Did you ask what the maximum price they would pay for the bar soap was, or what they wouldn't pay for
Well,
it?
we did not ask specifically that, but a couple of the families that I talked to used the same brand of soap, which was Surf Soap.
Kids
Yeah. That. And that was $1.50 more expensive, or less expensive than our.
No, it's more expensive. That's
Yeah,
not
our
nice.
per ounce.
They also
Yeah, but like
Was
per
it-
ounce.
Was it more or less?
It's more, so we wanted to specifically price our soap lower, so that ours would be like more attractive option.
And that was a
That
brand
makes
that some of our market used actually, so.
But, okay, I guess just from like a financial perspective though, raising the price, even if you had the same price as the other soap, if you could argue that your soap was better, or even 50 cents less, is and $1 more would
So,
make a lot more profit.
This might help answer your question, I think, because as you see, our soap, this is like a graph of our competitors' soap. Our soap is already considerably more expensive per ounce than, well, our soap is like bigger than a lot of other soap, but per ounce than a lot of other soaps on the market. For example, like one of our, like I think a couple of our target market people use this particular soap. So, like if that helps.
The Dove.
Also, I feel like those are like kind of like bare bones, just a little bit. Like you're offering something else, like that you can charge.
Also, is the kid side soap, is that your biggest competitor? Or
Yeah.
just Dove?
I'd say they're a close competitor, yes.
So, but yours is the only one that has something inside, doesn't that make it more worth it to raise the price right there? Surf Soap doesn't have anything inside.
I mean, yeah, we could raise the price.
Based on the fact that you have an extra special
Yeah.
ingredient that nobody else has.
Yeah, I think that'd be an easy change to make.
All right, so we're gonna cut off questions here because we only have a couple minutes left, but I would like to say a few things, and if you guys, folks want to chime in and stuff. First of all, in your presentation, thank you guys for all of you guys kind of stepping up and everybody contributing, for remaining calm when you get questions you don't know the answers to, and most importantly, like referring back to, I mean, when there were questions that you're like, oh yeah, that's a good point, but based on our interviews, or that's a good point, but based on our research, right? Like you guys did a good job of referring back to what you guys actually were able to figure out on your own. And that's one of the things that's a little bit different this year is that we really focused on, you guys having very specific like lab reports in which you are looking into certain variables, and you're like, that this thing is better than that thing based on what you guys found out. And that's something that hopefully in years to come, other classes will be able to look back at what you did and either build on that or improve on that and so forth. But I really do appreciate that you guys you're not just like, oh well, I think this and I think that. You guys actually responded to your interviews and your research, which was really good. Any other? Megan, folks in the back, anyone have anything to, yeah?
I just want to say a little bit about the packaging, which is that I think it's very important that on your packaging you have the ingredients listed, what the scents are and what they're made out of.
Okay. Other folks that go on Friday.